Hey Kickstarter, my name is Jim Adams and I'm with the Ideological Footprint Project. And I want to talk about your ideological footprint. So the ideological footprint is very similar to the concept of the carbon footprint. And people talk in terms of carbon offsets and our responsibility to one another based upon our carbon emissions. I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to study ideologies in the same way? So we can imagine an extreme experience where someone might have an ideology that um, kind of paints their worldview in terms of race. Someone may think that they'd rather associate with uh, people of the same race, or um, they may be more or less interested in institutionalizing um, race in particular socioeconomic activities, like getting into college or applying for financial aid. And others may think that that's not a good idea. And what I was always interested in debates with other people, sometimes with the same ideology and sometimes with different ideologies, I often found that it was really not instructive to use blanket labels and blanket terms to discuss these particular topics. What I really wanted to do is drill down and understand why someone felt that, for example, racial profiling was okay, um, but affirmative action was not. So again, the point of this whole process would be that it's a values neutral, it's an intent neutral process. So I'm not particularly interested in what the end result is for the sake of the end result. I'd be most interested in creating a process that was informative, it was interesting and easy to use. People wanted to take the ideological tests, and people wanted to share those results with other people. And what I'm interested in then is taking the composite of individual users' choices and preferences that they indicate on one of many tests that we'll have available. I would call that their ideological profile, but figuring out how that ideological profile affects someone else who maybe has a differing opinion. The goal of the Ideological Footprint Project is twofold. First, we wanted to create a tool to allow users to visualize their own ideologies in as value-neutral a way as is possible. What does it mean to be a liberal, a conservative, a socialist, a totalitarian, an anarchist, a monarchist, a Republican, or a Democrat? What does it truly tell us about a population littered with such inexact statements of values and preferences? The first goal of truly understanding the makeup of an individual's worldview is understanding that worldview on the atomic scale, by assigning relative weight to the answers to any number of specific public policy questions. Let's use a fairly current example. Polling models may ask liberals, conservatives, and independents what role government should play in healthcare. This is a false choice question, because the words government and healthcare are too broad and too laden with presupposed meaning that a serious statement of principles is difficult to infer. Our model would ask users specific questions and use an algorithm to determine the question's significance to many different ideologies. Users will have the freedom to answer as many questions as they'd like. The open source algorithm employed on ideologicalfootprint.org will continue to fine-tune a user's ideological profile as it receives more and more data about the user's political and socioeconomic preferences. The site will maintain anonymity while creating an engaging environment for sharing ideological preferences via social media. Our second derivative goal is to analyze the effect of individual worldviews or ideological profiles on holders of other ideologies. Users will have the opportunity to see the effects of other, sometimes competing ideologies on their own pursuit of social, political, and economic preferences. Others, in turn, will have the opportunity to get a sense of how their worldviews or ideological profiles impact the unfettered pursuit of the preferences of their friends, their neighbors, and complete strangers. This impact of one ideology on another, as formalized in public policy, is what we've called the ideological footprint. We hope to make the idea of the ideological footprint as thought-provoking as the carbon footprint, with implications for public policy making and preference analysis. With your support, you can help us transcend labels in social science and enable social media to create an online community of ideological understanding. So, Kickstarter community, a project like this transcends the passion of just a few people here at the Ideological Footprint Project. We'll be calling upon coders and website designers and other social scientists and students of philosophy and epistemology, um, and we'll need your help too. If you have a passion for moving beyond labels in public policy, if you'd be really interested in seeing very immersive participatory social science to go along with participatory democracy, we'd really like your support. If you have any questions, certainly drop us a line, and we thank you so much, Kickstarter community, for your support. Have a great day.